So I just got done checking in here at the convention center, and I gotta wait for them to call me. It is currently 6:15 a.m. So we'll see how long it takes. There's quite a bit of trucks here, not gonna lie. Might be a while. So they finally called me to go get loaded. It is 8 a.m. It was super quick. I just backed up in here. Let's go check it out. Convention Center for car show. They have that ramp. That's a pretty steep ramp. They said that they were having Jeeps go up and down on it. Right now what they're loading me up with is with just little ramps to showcase the Jeeps, that to get the Jeeps on. That big old ramp, it converts into a trailer. So you got the wheels right there. So all you gotta do is just get a bobtail truck and hook up to it to haul it. So they're almost done loading me up. Trying to get out of here is gonna be so hectic, not like it was coming in. When I came in here, you know, the whole Broadway street was completely dead. There was nobody there. It was empty. But now that I have to go out, everything's gonna be super busy. There's gonna be cars everywhere. It's gonna be so tight. But let's check out this route that Fix-It gotta go on. So this is the current route. I'm in downtown New York City. I'm gonna take 80 all the way to just up north of Detroit, Michigan. It is 652 miles, 550 in tolls, about 11-hour drive. So I should be there tomorrow, no problem. But check this out. Everything is ultra red for traffic. This is crazy. So I gotta go back to George Washington Bridge. From here to here, looking at about at least an hour. It's like 5 miles right here. Man, I just flew my drone into the building. Look at my drone. So I have some construction guys here and they're gonna try to help me out to get it. Hopefully the forklift reaches up. So they got that cage hooked up to the forklift. I might have to get up there. I don't know who they're gonna send up there. Let's go, I just got it. I just got my drone back and it is all jacked up. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use it. I'm probably gonna have to send it to get it repaired. Freaking sucks, man. For the first 6 months of my OTR career, I never went to the Northeast coast. The company I started to work for knew that I was new to over the road, but the reason why they hired me was because I had experience in driving a truck locally for 5 years. With that being said, my dispatcher never booked me loads that went that way. It wasn't until I became an owner operator that I finally developed the courage to head that way. I'm still shocked and relieved that they didn't even take me on a test run to gauge my skills, because I truly believe I would have failed from being so frightened and scared to be surrounded by so much traffic. How did I end up here? They must have been desperate for drivers. Let me tell you something. Going from the oil field to over the road is a complete 180-degree turn. Try to imagine driving in a small town where the only trucks that you ever saw were from the oil field versus driving through Chicago, Illinois. That's where they had their office at. They have nothing in common besides that they both require a CDL to drive. Going from driving a day cab to a sleeper truck is not easy. It can be complicated and challenging when you're in tight spaces. You can forget about even trying to back up blindsided. Trying to make a right turn in a small town can become a real problem, especially when you have four-wheelers that don't give you enough space or they are not even paying attention to you. Plus, the cargo van trailers are approximately 7 feet longer compared to the tanker trailers that I was used to. I probably added around 15 feet extra of length on the truck and trailer combined when I went OTR. It's not easy getting used to it, but I managed to survive 3 years later. When I finally became an owner-operator, I told my dispatcher, "Don't you dare book me a load that goes into New York City or the surrounding areas. I'll go anywhere on the northeast coast except to the island." And by the island, I meant anywhere east of I-95 that was inside of New York. One day, out of the blue, my dispatcher called me about a load that needed to be picked up in downtown New York City at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. Before he even finished telling me about the load, I was already getting ready to say no. But then he told me how much they were paying. I had to repeat the amount back to him just to make sure I heard him correct. He said, "Yes, they are willing to pay you this much for this load." It would be the highest paying load that I had ever done for the shortest amount of miles. It was too good to say no. My dispatcher knew it. That's why he offered it to me. He knew I would be perplexed about it. Told him I would think about it and call him back shortly. After going back and forth about it in my head for about 10 minutes, I had an answer. I called him back and told him to go ahead and book it for me. Now I had to figure out what kind of mess I had gotten myself into. I called one of my friends who is also an owner-operator for the company I'm with. He's been over the road for over 10 years, so he might be able to guide me trying to make it safely to the convention center. He is someone who I consider a mentor. He has helped me so much when I first became an owner-operator, and just as I expected, he gave me the truck-friendly route once I entered the George Washington Bridge. The last thing you want to do is not know where you're going after you cross that bridge. Everything becomes so hectic, cars everywhere, streets are so small and crammed, and you miss one turn, and you can just might end up hitting a low bridge if you're not careful. There are 2 travel lanes on Broadway Street, the main road you need to be on in order to reach the convention center. But the way people drive there, you're practically only able to use the left travel lane. People use the right lane for deliveries like groceries to the local stores. A lot of mail trucks, garbage trucks, taxis, buses, Ubers, even construction vehicles will and can stop at any given moment on the right lane. There is a shoulder, but cars are always parked there, so the only option they have is to park on the travel lane. If you end up stuck behind one of them, good luck trying to get to the left lane. People don't care about your turn signal. The difference between driving through Broadway Street during the night versus the day is like night and day, literally. It is so different when you go through there at 4 a.m. versus 5 p.m. Anytime between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., it's like a ghost town when you drive through there. There's hardly anybody in the streets. You have the whole road for yourself. A few cars here and there, but nothing difficult. If you have to drive through there between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., you better know what you're doing and where you're going. The streets will be filled up with cars everywhere. Just how they portray New York City in the movies, It is exactly like that out here. Cars honking all the time, bikes ringing their bells nonstop, and people walking everywhere like ants. The very first time I had to drive through New York City was around 11 a.m., at the height of all the madness. I was terrified to say the least. My vision seemed like it was getting blurry from how hard I was trying to focus on everything that was going on around me. I started to second guess myself on where I was headed. You can forget about using a trucking GPS in that area. It will not give you an accurate route. From the first exit from George Washington Bridge all the way to the convention center, there are a total of over 150 streets that I needed to pass and easily over 100 stoplights that I needed to get through. It easily took over an hour to travel 5 miles at the most. By the time I made it to the convention center, I was so relieved. I could not believe what I had just gone through. One of the most difficult things I had done in my entire trucking career. Never again, I told myself, never again will I ever come here. I was so pissed and mad at myself for accepting that load. My nerves were out of control. Have you ever done something and it just got easier the more you did it? The more that you do it, the more comfortable and familiar you become with the task at hand. That's exactly what happened to me. I have been to New York City at least 5 times. I don't even flinch anymore when my dispatcher asks me if I want to go there. And by the way they pay, just let me know when the pickup date is and I'll be there.